to 6 feet above craft studio where art comes to life, but the neighbors not so much. As some of you know, I live above a funeral home, and so this is also where I do my crafting. So we left off in the last video. I was telling you guys some stories about um, things that have happened in my life. Since I was very young, I have been able to, I don't know how to say it without just saying it. So, like, I can communicate with people who have passed on. It's just something that I've done since I was like 8 years old. So, I was going to tell you about a story that happened with my youngest son when he was about 2. So first, I'm going to let you know what we're making today because that's what we're here for, is to make spiders. We're going to make a spider that is purple and yellow themed, and it's going to have a little bee hanging as a charm underneath of a yellow crystal. So we're using 22 gauge wire and the pinhead with the loop on it, and I'm using an assortment of different tools. If you have any questions about the tools that I'm using, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. So we're going to start off by making the body, and that's, I think, the only thing that I didn't get prepared for. Okay, I'm using one of these. Alright, so the story starts out, my son was about 2 and we lived in an apartment where the living room and the laundry room were right next to each other. And so you could see into the laundry room from the living room. So we're sitting in the living room, me and my sister and some of her kids and a couple of my kids, and I'm trying to talk and do this thing at the same time. So we're sitting in the living room, and my son looks towards the laundry room and he says, "Who is the man sitting in the laundry room?" And I just looked at him. He's 2. I'm like, "What?" So I said, "There's no one there." And I went about what I was doing. And he asked again, "Who is the man sitting in the laundry room?" So I went in there because, normally if there's something there, I can feel it. And I didn't feel anything. And when we got in there, he said, "Oh, he's gone." And so a little while later, he comes to me and he says that the man is in my bedroom and he's sitting on the floor. I've lost my thing. He's sitting on the floor rolling a golf ball. He has a blue hat on and he has a chicken. Now that's pretty specific for a 2-year-old to come up with as far as what he's seeing. So I sat there and I tried to feel it, tried to connect with whatever it was. Okay, so there's the butt of the spider. So I didn't feel anything. My child is sitting on my lap and he says the man is crying. And so I said to it, whatever it was, "Look, you're scaring my child. This is not working. If you have something to say, communicate with me, or you're just going to have to go away." And so we left it at that. Well, a while later, my son comes to me again and he's crying. And he says, "The man is going to get me." So all of these things coming together, I go to my ex-husband's house because, we're still getting along and everything is good and whatever. And I was telling his mother what was going on about the man sitting on the floor with the golf ball, with the chicken. He had a dog, he had a blue hat. And she says, "Well, you know who that is?" And I was like, "No, I don't know who that is." She says, "Well, that's her husband that passed away. His name was Mike." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're right." So he was passed away long before my youngest son was ever born. And so she goes and gets a picture and shows it to my son. And my son says, "That's Papa. That's the man." Well, how would he know that he was called Papa or who he even was? So turns out that that's what it was. It was my ex-father-in-law that was trying to communicate with my son. So that was pretty interesting. We had to do a little bit of saging, and now that I knew who he was, communicating with him to let him know to not bother Blake anymore because, that's scary for a small child. And so it all worked out. So there's that. Now I can focus on making this spider. All right. So I'm thinking that's going to be the body. Just making sure before I do this. I don't want that to be the head. I think that's going to be the head. Okay, so now I'm using this little tool that you stick it through here and hold it there. And when you crimp it like this, it cuts off the end of the wire and then it loops this end. For some reason, it doesn't loop every time really well, and you have to just take these little ones and bring it together like that. Okay, so oops, there's the body. All right, so do you guys have any ghost stories or spirit? Everybody calls it something different. So for the legs, I don't really measure it, but the one time that I did, it was like 8 inches each one. So I just kind of gauge how long I think it needs to be, and I cut it, and then I do it 3 more times. And remember, today we are doing purple and yellow. And if you have a color you would like to see me do, let me know and I would be happy to do it. So one thing that I try not to do living above a funeral home is watch supernatural movies and things like that, because I'm a firm believer in what you think about you bring about, and I don't really want to bring about all of that. Well, last night I stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning watching this show called The Witcher, and it didn't scare me, but I thought, that's a lot of negative energy to be bringing up here above a funeral home, especially when there's already activity downstairs. So I know I said in one of my videos that I would try and do a walkthrough down there, but I haven't talked to the owners yet to okay that. Okay, so I take 2 legs first. Some people take all 4 legs at once. I take 2 at a time. That way the 2 that you put on first can go forward and the other 2 can go backwards, and they're not kind of wonky. So I just put it between the head and the butt, and then I cross them over. You can take 2 of your pliers and give it a little pull just to make sure it's nice and tight if you want to. And then I pull them forward so it looks like that. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing with the back legs. Line them up. And I use this thicker wire because you can shape the legs and they stay. If your wire is thinner, it kind of just makes like a bowed leg. It's like a weird shape. And I prefer this wire instead. Okay, so then you're going to make these the back legs. So you're just going to put it over, pull it down. You have to work a little bit more at it since there's already wire on there. And twist. Now somebody asked on one of my spiders if I sell my spiders. I do sell my spiders. I sell them off of Facebook and also at a little cafe here in town. And if you're interested in any of the spiders, they're pretty much all one of a kind, but I can replicate pretty much, maybe not the exact bead, but then you can send me money and I'll ship the spider to you. So yes, I do sell them, but I do not have a website. All right, so let's get all the legs going where we want them. All right, so this is what she looks like right now. She's going to be really sparkly. All right, we're going to start out like we always do with seed beads. And the reason we do that is because I like to use chunky beads close to the body. And if you don't use the seed beads first, then the legs get all weird because there's no room for them to go. So we're going to use yellow. And I use between 3 and 5. And you just kind of get a feel for how many you need. Let's see. All right, that's 3. Put that back in there. And you want to move the legs around a little bit so you can push the beads as close to the body as possible. And that's going to be good with the 3 beads. All right, so the next bead I'm going to use, let's see. All right, I'm going to use this glass bicone purple bead. I do one leg first just to figure out what the layout is because I don't do that ahead of time. And then I do 2 legs at a time or 3 legs at a time after that. All right, so then I also have these glass bicone beads also. And let's see, what are we going to do here? We're going to use, all right, we're going to use the yellow one. That's going to be pretty. And then I'm going to use one of these little spacers. It's a little middle spacer. Sometimes I put stuff on there and then I decide, no, that doesn't look good, and I take it off, but then, well, maybe not. Okay, these, I don't know what they're called, but when you turn them in the light, they have almost every color in them. They're really beautiful. Okay, so then we're going to do another spacer and then yellow bead. Oh, bicone bead. That's looking really pretty. And let's see. Let's do another one of the big ones. And then do a purple little one. I'm wondering if we should do this yellow bead, but it doesn't really go with what we're doing. I took them out just in case. Let's see. Purple. Do light yellow. And purple. I'm liking that. Yellow. And then light yellow. Okay, so there we have that. I like that. All right, so then we're going to end it with, we want to use a seed bead. I have these little cloudy beads. I don't even know what they're called, but they're really pretty and they sparkle. So it's almost like a moon bead, but it's not. Okay, so there we have one finished leg. So then I take my wire cutters and I like to leave about that much space simply because when I curl it down, I don't want to just do it once or twice because then if it gets caught on something, your beads are going everywhere. So at least this way, it's got a fighting chance of not coming apart. And you can also use like a jewelry glue to glue the end if you want to make absolute for sure that it's not going to come apart. So, all right, so now we're going to do 2 at a time. So like I said, we do have people downstairs, actual live people, with a family member that is not, but there are no energies coming from down there. And ever since I decided that I wasn't going to allow them to communicate with me anymore, I don't really hear from them as much. Sometimes I get a persistent one, that thinks I can go talk to their family, but I'm not going to do that because then people are going to think I'm weirder than they already do. But, so we have the seed beads on, and then we're going to go with the big purple bicone. I'm learning so much doing this. I didn't know the names of any of these before. Alright, so that. And then I did the bright yellow. For a little bit. So if anyone on here while I'm doing this says anything to me, it looks like it said, someone said hi. Where my phone is to do this video, I can't really see it very well, so I'll try and look every now and then, but I will answer after the video if you have questions or want to say something. Okay, so then we did the spacer. Now we're going to do this really pretty, I don't know what the name of the bead is, but you can kind of see like what the reflection is and how big it is. Is it 10 centimeters or 10 millimeters? I don't know. I do not know. I don't make the beads. I just put them together. Okay. So I sent in my little like paragraph. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you about a lady in town who's writing a book, paranormal book about a place that she lives, and the ghost hunters were there, and they had me do a walkthrough with them, which was, I got pretty accurate, which was pretty cool. Got a lot of confirmation. Anyway, so she's writing a book, and I get to have a little say in it, so that's gonna be neat. Alright, so now we're using the light yellow. I think those are too dark. This one anyway. That was there. Then the light yellow. It's funny, for Halloween, we never have anyone show up, no kids come here. I guess because it seems really haunted because it's a funeral home. But this time we had like 25 people. Most of them were teenagers, but still it was really nice to have some people come up to get some candy. Alright, what color is this? Not that one. Weird. This one? No? One of these. There we go. It's really not haunted. Like you would think that a funeral home would be haunted. Nothing ever stays. There's no energy here that was here. I've been here 5 years and nothing has stayed here. I do have a picture of one that was here, but she wasn't recent. She was on one of my motion cameras, and one day I don't know how I can do it, but if I can post it to YouTube, I will. But yeah, full-fledged, like farm lady with the tight bun and the little farm outfit on. It was pretty interesting. Okay, so now we're going with light. Keep getting distracted. Guess I can't multitask anymore. And I'm also working on my Christmas junk journal. I don't know if any of you saw that, but I'll do a video on that one next. So that's what I do. I do junk journals and beta spiders. Right. Now you can do 3 legs at a time, but you have to have your wires really long. Otherwise, as soon as you tip the spider in any direction, you're going to lose beads. They just fall right off. Okay, so have those. Now I'm going to do this one first so that I can hold this one and the beads won't jump off. I'm just going to cut the wire and curl it down. Yeah, pretty much all of my children have the ability. Actually, everyone has the ability. Just some people are not open to it. You know, they were brought up thinking that it was your imaginary friends or the devil or whatever. Well, I never taught that to my children. You know, it is what it is. And so they all have the ability, but not all of them choose to use it, which is good. They do them. All right, front legs are done and one side leg. So I turn it and do 2 more legs. 4 yellow seed beads. Oops, on there. I think I did 3 on the first one, didn't I? Yep. 3, not 4. There's another one there. Depends on which wire cutters I use. Sometimes it makes it so that you can get the bead on there. So let's clip it again. There we go. That's better. Oops. Sometimes they don't go on there very well. Hello. I can't see who said hello, but it says that someone said hello. Well, why aren't these beads going on here now? There, we'll get a couple out. There. Oops. 3 on that one. So I don't know when her book is coming out or what it's called yet. As soon as I find out, I will tell you guys in one of my videos. You know, I don't know how people get on here or what they do or what the magic is to get thousands of followers and get monetized. But that sure would be awesome because I'm tired of painting houses. I'm ready to just make spiders every day. Okay, so then we're going to put the large purple bicone. Let's see. And like I said, you got to move the legs every now and then. All right, then we're going to go with the yellow. And then spacers. Oops. Get on there. And yellow. I have to get some more yellow of the little bicones that's running out. A spacer. And now our big pretty beads. Now, my spiders are pretty heavy because I basically use all glass beads and crystals. I guess crystals are glass beads. Anyway, yeah, they're typically pretty heavy. So I put a loop at the end. I use a fishing line to hang them from. And then I also use these little metal loops that I'm not sure what I did with them right now. But yeah, because like I said, they're a little bit heavy with all of this. And then another. Alright, so that's what we have going on there. And we're going to start with the yellows. I do use some acrylic beads as fillers sometimes, and that's okay if anybody needs to do that. Yellow. I did buy some more disco balls right here. So I'm going to make a couple of spiders with those hanging down. That's going to be a really neat sun catcher. I have one hanging in my bedroom and it just is amazing. Like when the sun comes up in the morning, it just spins all these beautiful colors around my room and it drives my animals crazy. Okay, make sure we're doing the same thing here. And then purple, the right one. Yep. Yellow. And then the little clear bead. So this does have some different yellows on it, so every yellow one isn't exactly the same. But that's okay. I actually thought about doing a spider that wasn't like uniform, you know, it was just random beads. I might do that. That might look pretty. So when you're not talking at the same time, a spider takes about 20 minutes to make. Once you get, the hang of it. And if you have all of your things where you need them to be, sometimes I have to get up and look for things because, like I said, I don't really plan them. I just kind of wing it. All right, so we have 3 more legs to go. Let's see if I can do them all at the same time. Got the beads falling off. See beads first. And like I said, move the legs around so you can get the beads all the way down there. And there is no right way to do this. As you can see on YouTube and TikTok and everything else, everybody does their own thing. It's art. So no one can say you're doing it wrong. So whatever you have going on, you do, whatever makes you happy, whatever you're proud of, you do that. Okay, and we have this purple bicone. And stretch the legs out a little bit. Down. Actually, that's down. That's up. There we go. Now is when you're going to start placing the legs where they go because the bulky one near the body kind of make it where you have to do that. Okay, so you can see the legs are starting to go where they go. All right, we have yellow. And then spacer. So some people ask, well, where do you get all of your beads? Everywhere. I get them at thrift stores. I get them at hobby stores. I get them from customers that are cleaning closets out, um, just everywhere. I prefer to get old costume jewelry and take it apart because then you get some really unique beads and spacers. So I did get a beautiful piece of jewelry from one of my customers, but I cannot and will not ever take it apart because it's just too beautiful. But I'll show that to you guys one day. Okay, so now we're doing the yellow. Mix it up a little bit. The dark one here. So if you're just joining, we are doing purple and yellow beaded spider suncatcher, also known as a Christmas spider. That's actually what I started out doing, was making Christmas spiders. And a Christmas spider goes in a Christmas tree, and there's a whole story behind it. Um, so then it just became sun catchers because everybody that was buying it was calling it a sun catcher. So you can do what you want with it. But the story that I heard that goes with the Christmas spider is that a poor family brought a Christmas tree in out of the woods because they couldn't afford to buy one, and they didn't have ornaments or anything on it. And so they went to bed, and when they got up in the morning on Christmas morning, the tree was completely decorated and shiny with spider webs, and because of all the spiders that were in it. And so then every year after that, they made sure to let the spiders come in, spider families come in and be warm and decorate their tree. So that's the story that I heard. There are other ones out there too, but so if you know, and I've said this in my other video, I've tried to Google it, but I'm just not getting the information that I need. If you know what I have to do, what it takes to get monetized, I can make live videos now, but the next step eludes me. So I need to know. Alright, make sure we got everybody in line here. Some of the yellows are different, like I said, so you're going to see that, but should just be three now. In one of my videos, I mixed up on the beads and I had to go back and take the legs apart, which can happen when you're yapping your mouth instead of just making spider. Alright, let's make sure we got this. Purple, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See, I think I got it wrong here. 1, 2, purple, purple, and then 3, purple, and then 2, purple, and 3. Alright, what did I do wrong here? That's wrong. See, I have to pay attention. So I think I need another yellow. Almost made his back legs too short. So if you are making these spiders to sell them and you wonder about price, it's really up to you. You know, I mean, you can charge $5 for them, you can charge $40 for them. It depends on a few things. What kind of beads you use, where you live. Like, you're going to get more for it in Sarasota, Florida than you are in some little town in Kentucky. But it's really up to you what you sell them for. I sell mine. If somebody calls and orders one or messages and orders one specific that I have to go buy certain beads for, they want colors or they want a certain charm, then it's $20. I sell them to the little cafe here in town in bulk because they buy them every day, and I sell them for $10 a piece because they buy so many of them. So it's really up to you. And honestly, even if no one bought them, I'm going to make them anyway because I do this for anxiety, because sometimes my anxiety gets to be too much, and that's what I have a craft room for. This is my happy place, because when you're crafting, you can't be thinking about stuff that makes you have anxiety, because you're thinking about what you're making. So it works out. Okay. All right, there are all the legs on. There she is. Her legs are not shaped yet. All right. So this is going to be the top of her. These are her front legs. We're going to pull those forward. And you can shape it however you want to. Mine are sometimes a little bit different, but all right. And once you get them where you want them, if you have to come back up here and twist it to tighten them up a little bit, you can. All right, so I'm going to hang her from the loop here, but then I'm also going to bring her legs to the string. So I'm going to go to this purple and yellow one right here and bend like that. So those are her back legs. And then these I'm going to push up between the purple and the yellow like that. And then same here, push up and get everything in line here. Oops, that was the wrong leg. And there we go. Move it. Okay. Takes a minute to get everybody where they go. Alright, so then I just bend that, bring it up a little bit. You just think of a spider. What does a spider look like when you see it? So then we're going to do the same thing here. Bend and bend. And I kind of want them spaced a little bit evenly. And then the front legs, that's where I'm going to hang the charm from. So, you know what? I messed up. Darn it. I did not put a big bead on any of these except for the first one. Well, now I have to go back and fix that one. Darn it. Let's see. Yep, so I have to take that big bead off. At least I only did that on one. You have a less chance of that happening if you're not talking. But how much fun would it be to watch a video for 37 minutes if nobody was talking? Okay, so we're going to take all of these off. Flatten this out. That's another good thing about making the end of the wire much longer, is that you can unwind it and fix it. All right, so I can take that off of there. Come off of there. Don't want to pull too hard. Okay. Try and keep them in order. Yeah, I guess I didn't want to use those big beads, huh? All right. Yellow. Purple. Yellow. Purple, yellow. And then the last one. Yellow. Purple. Yellow. And the clear bead. All right. And then wind it back up. Cut a little bit off of there since we took the bead off. Okay. All right, there we go. Now she's matching. Leg. Gotta move the legs around a little bit. And it's up to you if you want to move the legs around, if you like what they look like, and you know, not a perfectionist. Okay, there we go. All right, so then again, I'm gonna bend front legs so that the 2 feet come together, because I'm gonna clip them together so I can hang the charm. Let's tighten this one up a little bit. And bend the legs again. Okay. All right, so there she is. Now let's go ahead and hang her. All right, we're going to take these large jump rings. This is a jump ring. And I'm going to use this first one to put her feet together. Now sometimes you have to twist where you ended the bead right there, so that you can get the jump ring in there. There we go. Okay, so that it looks like that. And you're going to get another pair of pliers and close it. So then you need another jump ring. What did we do with the jump ring? Okay, this container of jump rings I got off of Temu, and it was very cheap. I don't know if they're still doing cheap because of all of the tariffs and things like that. Okay, so then you're going to put another one there, so you have some dangle, and then another one. Take this back one. Now this is optional. I put a jump ring on the butt sometimes I don't, but today I'm going to. And that's going to be to hang the string from that she hangs from the window. Okay, so now let's get her charms and her crystal. Alright, so to do the charm and the crystal, you're going to need another head pin. And I like for mine to have the loop on it. So, and if you don't have the one with the loop on it, you can make one with this or with this one. So you don't have to buy the pack that already has them. Alright, so I like to have the loop on it when I'm going to add a charm to it. Alright, so I put the bead there, the crystal, hold this the right way. And then I'm going to make a loop on this end. Oops, that's a little too close. There we go. This thing, they really need to come up with a better model of this, because it's not the easiest to do. And I always have to come back into it. Okay. You want to make sure that it's all the way closed. Okay. Alright, so then you're going to go back to the second jump ring that you hung from her front feet. And clip your crystal there. Now you can end it with that. You can just have her like that. But I'm going to add a little bumblebee. So I need a small jump ring. All stuck together like one chain, so it takes a minute to get it out of there. Oops, I had one and then I dropped it. Okay. So let's see. So you're going to take the smaller jump ring, I'm going to put the bead on it, And then I'm going to loop on the bottom of the crystal. Okay. I might have to turn it around. I'm going to have to turn it around because the bee is facing the wrong way. Even though it's going to be turning, I would like for it to be facing front. Just to start off with. So I'm just going to open the jump ring. Turn the bee. Around. And close the jump ring. Again, if you want to, you can use a jewelry glue to put little dots where everything comes together. So there she is. Now we're going to put her string that you hang her with. I don't think it matters which fishing string you use, or if you even just use if you use wire. I mean, it's really up to you what you want to hang them from. Like I said, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's art. And then once you hang her from the string or wire or whatever, then you can get a better idea of where her legs need to be, how the weight distributes as she hangs. So then cut that little piece. So you can leave her like that, or you can connect her legs to the wire. I mean, I used to just leave it how it was, but now I like the way that it looks when her back legs are connected. So just take the wire or string, then you can realign her. Okay, so there she is. Our purple and yellow bee spider. Thank you guys for watching. And if you're interested in buying her or one like her, let me know. I can ship her to you, and I will be happy to. So thanks again for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, because I think that's how I'm going to end up being able to make money off of this. So thank you very much.